Hello. Hi everyone, it's LindaLee, and I am live here in Naples, Florida with Junk Journal Junkies etc. How are you? I am going to work on some book page covered buttons tonight. And I have some really big buttons that I had gotten with my last stash. And I figured I've been wanting to do this, and very rarely do I really use the big buttons. But I figured, well, maybe I will if they're covered. All right, here I am. So I just found myself online, and here we are all together. Let me make sure I have chat turned on. It's been a crazy evening for whatever reason. It's just a weird one. I don't know. I know we're coming off a new moon, I think, but I don't know. It's just weird. But here we are together. And this here, I have my camera on pretty low, so hopefully y'all can kind of see without too much issue. I'm going to try and stay in frame. If for some reason I happen to wander out, just, send a little message and let me know. But this is what we're going to do. I kind of figured this out yesterday, and this is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to cover some of my bigger buttons with book pages. And then these have the holes in them. And then these two buttons actually have shanks that you can either cut off and just glue down or really sew them. One of them is kind of broken, this one, so I'll probably cut that off with some wire cutters anyway. But I went through some of my buttons and found some big ones and some that aren't so pretty and some that are kind of beat up. And we're going to cover them with some paper. And I suppose it can be done with any paper. The thinner the paper, the better. It would be easier. And when I was picking out the buttons and in doing these, what I found is it's better to do it on the flat side. I don't have any circle punches. So what I'm actually doing is I'm gluing with glue stick on the flat side to the paper, and then I'm cutting around it. If I had a circle punch and it was, fit on the inside, then I would have left the natural edge of the button and then just put it on the inside. But I don't have any circle punches, so I'm not doing it that way. I just kind of figured it out a different way. So what I'm going to do is, this one here is this button. I had two of them. So I'm going to do this one. Hi, Heidi. Let me turn this here so I can see the chat. Heidi and Naomi, hello. I'm going to do this one. I've been wanting to do this one so bad, but now that I'm potentially going to cover it up, I think I'm going to set it aside for now. But I'm going to do this one, and these white ones are like acrylic, and they're kind of chewed up a little bit. They're not very pretty, so I figured why not cover it up so that way I will use it. So I got those three, and let me grab this one. So one with the shank. The rest I'm just going to put aside. And I have them in a jar. So these will probably be the buttons that I cover with paper either eventually or as I get new ones, I'll drop them in there. But as far as book pages go, I just had this this one page in the book that I've been pulling apart and using had some different text in it. So this is the page that I've been using for those. But I also remembered that I have a dictionary, and I believe it's from German to Italian or Italian to German. It goes both ways. So I'm going to use one of those on one of the smaller buttons. And also, my process is basically I'm gluing with like a glue stick to the paper on the back side here. And then I'm cutting around it. And then I'm using, because I don't have any Mod Podge, so what I'm doing is I'm watering down tacky glue. And it worked. I kind of did it in advance to make sure that it would work. And it worked fine. So I guess you don't really need Mod Podge. Or you can do it with like Elmer's glue or something. But I just have, this is packaging that I had gotten from something I just ordered in the mail. Hi, Natalie. How are ya? Excuse me. So I'm just going to put a blob in here. I probably don't need that much, but... So I got some tacky glue, and now I'm just going to use a wee bit of water. And I'm going to thin it because I want it to be wetter. Or more wet, I guess is a better term. And we're just going to mix it up. And if it's not enough water, we'll just add a little more. But I think that should do it. So again, it's just watered down tacky glue. If you didn't see it, sorry about that. Hello, Cindy. How's everyone? I'm feeling a little rushed. I ordered pizza like 5:30, and what was it? Maybe 6:45. It still hadn't come, so I called. I ordered it online through the app. It's a place we order from all the time, and it hadn't arrived yet. So I called just to kind of verify, what's up, where's my pizza type of thing. And they said, well, it was delivered and the guy was back here by 6:19. And it's like, well, wherever he delivered to, it wasn't to us. We don't have a pizza. So anyway, long story short, they made more pizza and the manager drove it out. But when she touched base with the driver, he said that there was somebody coming out of our apartment and he gave the pizza to them and they took it in. I said, well, maybe that's so, but it wasn't my apartment. I don't think the guy was at the right place. So somebody stole our pizza. Hi, Kimberly. I am doing some book page covered buttons. So I selected these buttons already. These are the ones that we're going to cover, and I have 4 of them that I pulled out. These are the ones that I already did. I did them yesterday to make sure that my process was a good one. Actually, let me pull out another button or 2. I'm going to this one, and I think there's one more. I'm looking for one that's kind of rounded, because once these are done, they have to kind of sit to dry, and the ones that are rounded, it'll lift them up a little bit. You'll see all that in just a few minutes. Hello, Cheryl. Holy moly, we got full house tonight. So anyway, that's my pizza story. Somebody stole our pizza. And we just had it delivered at like 8 o'clock, so I ate really, really fast. So pardon me if I get the hiccups or something, because I feel like they're coming. All right, so as I explained earlier, I don't have a circle punch. And so I'm kind of working around the fact that I don't have certain things that I might better off have for this. So what I'm doing is I'm just selecting the flat side to glue onto the paper. All right, so this is here where I had done, the other buttons and the pink one. So now all I'm going to do is cut around it. I'm going to let that glue stick dry a little bit more. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Just cut it a little bit shorter. I just want it to be long enough to come up over the edge of the button itself. So I'm going to set that down. We're going to do another one. I'm going to use a smaller button, and we're going to use the little mini dictionary page that I have. So it's from German to Italian. So this has already got some natural distressing or aging to it, so I'm not sure that I'm gonna distress it first. And the reason why I distressed this before is because the glue actually does seal it a little bit. So after it's dry, the ink doesn't stick to it as well. It still did distress it a little bit more, but I did it first on this one. So this one I won't distress. We'll just glue it. And we'll do this smaller button. This isn't actually flat, but I'm going to do it anyway. And let's trim around this one. So anyway, now, and we ordered some Primo pizzas too. It was a Meat Lovers pizza, extra large, and a small cheeseburger bacon pizza, or bacon cheeseburger. So somebody just, how can people do that? I don't get it. Hello, Christina. Welcome. We're doing some book paper covered buttons. Let me cut out this one too. And then we'll actually start gluing. Now this is really messy, so my recommendation is to have, you know, like a washcloth or a baby wipe or something, because once we start getting glue all over this button, and you basically you need to shape it with your fingers, it's kind of messy. And this particular pair of scissors I only use with glue and stuff, so you don't want to use your good scissors with this little project because it's going to get icky. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to score all the way around, because I'm actually going to bring this up over the edge. See that? And Susie's here too. Hi, Susie. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to wet this down, and this is going to be soft, and it's going to just wrap all the way around and then stick. Let's get this little one. So this is a good thing to do with any thinner paper and any buttons, especially if they're not real pretty. Like this white one isn't pretty. So I don't know, not everything has to be pretty, but I'm not sure I would use that because it's actually a little chewed up. It looks like it had gone through, you know, some serious distressing in its time. So I'm going to cover it up. That way I'll use it for sure. Let's do one more. Actually, we're going to just do this one. I'm going to do just those 3 first. Anybody start any new projects today? I kind of been holding off starting something new until I did this, because I had everything on my table yesterday figuring this out, trying to see the best way to do it. So I just kind of left everything on the table. But on my YouTube, I've been, you know, doing a journal. And I want to do an eco batch this weekend. So, and I'm going to try and film the whole process. So that way, y'all can kind of see the whole thing. So I just have a softer bristle brush. This is actually a ceramic glaze brush. I guess it really doesn't matter what it is as long as it's a little on the softer side. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to brush it over primarily the edge first. I want that to be soft. It doesn't necessarily have to be over the button itself yet. So once it's a little on the soft side, then I'm going to use my fingers and form it around the edge. So this is what I mean when I said it gets messy. Okay. And then as it dries, it gets a little more tacky and it stays down even better. Now this one I distressed first for the folks that just came in. I actually distressed the button before I started with the glue, only because this is the tacky glue, and I just watered it down a little bit. I didn't have Mod Podge, so that's why I'm using what I had. So a little bit of the ink is coming off. You can kind of see it in the brush, which is fine. So while this dries a little bit, I'm setting this down on top of another button. This button here is kind of rounded, so I'm just going to sit it on there so that it doesn't lay flat on the paper, because it's going to stick. It's glue. Now I'll move on to the next one. So this is another one of the flat ones. Everybody's so quiet. I probably could have used just a little bit more water in the glue so that it was a little bit more wet. Basically, I just wanted to soften the paper, you know. Okay. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of glaze over it a little bit, seal it. And I'm gonna set it down on top of one of those buttons that's sitting right here. I should have got a smaller one. All right, I'm gonna wash my fingers for a second. So what do you guys think? Is this something you might try? Am I still live? All right, so let's do this one, this little bitty guy. And then we'll go back to the first one and poke some holes. Because that's all you really need to do then after that. And then you just let it sit and dry overnight. Uh-oh. My phone, my weather alarm. It's going to rain, stopping in 10 minutes. We have not had rain in, I want to say like a month or more, maybe. So we need a lot more than just 10 minutes of sprinkling. But we'll take what we can get. Oh, very cool. So Susie, you're doing it now, and Naomi, you're looking through buttons? Awesome. That's very cool. Michelle Mers, how are you? I see you. Just letting this paper get nice and soft. Thinner. The last one, I think I left a little bit too much glue on top. Am I staying in frame for y'all? Okay, and set that on there for the moment. So I just have a baby wipe. I have baby wipes in our hurricane supplies from last year, so they have a tendency to dry out after time, so I just use them in my craft room. Alright, so this one was the first one we did, and it's definitely not dry, but what I want to do is we're going to poke holes and then kind of work them. This is just a straight pin or T-pin. I'm not sure what they call it. Okay, Naomi, I don't understand fully what you said. I know you said you got some not so pretty buttons and going to use in center of Anzac. Is that what that is? Anzac poppy? Is that a kind of flower? The Anzac poppy? Yeah, this would be pretty with any kind of paper. I have, oh, I gotta move my chair a little bit. I think I have some, maybe some designer paper we could try one with while these two are drying, because I used a little bit much glue on those. Let's see. Let's see real quick. That's coffee dyed. I think I need a bigger piece than that, wider. I got all kinds of skinny scraps. There we go. There's a picture of a coleus from a book. Maybe I can use that one. So anyway, this is the whole project. I don't really have much to add to it unless we do something else as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, that I do know that of course not this year because of all the craziness that's going on, but I have in the past have bought little flowers, little poppies from folks that were basically in memory of those who fought in wars. I didn't realize that it actually it probably originated right there in New Zealand and Austria, but we recognize that here too. I just didn't know the word. Well, that's very cool. So if you had a circle punch that was the same size as your button, this would probably be a lot easier. It's just a matter of putting the button on the top of the paper on top of the button and then poking the holes. But I don't have any circle punches, so we do it this way, which seems to work. I'm very happy with them. Oh, this one right here is coming unstuck. So I guess you got to kind of keep an eye on them too while they're drying, because these pieces just lifted off the edge. Australia, New Zealand Air Corps. Oh, okay. Anzac. Makes perfect sense. Thank you, Naomi. So while this is getting nice and soft, we'll work it over the edge. Now this was a book page. So it was, the paper was consistent with like a magazine. It's from a botanical book. So it's slightly waxy, but it's still kind of thin, lightweight. So again, I'm using the bottom of the buttons as the top because it's nice and flat. It gives it a better surface. Now the smaller button that I did right here, that one was more rounded. And these two shank buttons that I did yesterday are rounded. So the shank buttons are the same. We just don't have holes to poke, and then you have that shank on the bottom that you either stitch. I'll probably actually just cut it off and glue it instead. But a regular wire cutter will cut that shank off because it's just a plastic button. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a little bit over the top to seal it. And this paper didn't soften up as much as I thought it would. Maybe once it dries a little bit and gets a little tackier. Because it's sticking in my fingers, that's for sure. So now where do I put it? Actually, I have a water bottle right here. I'm just going to set it on the top of the cap. These papers are already lifting. So what else is going on? Are you girls that are doing this too, are you having any luck? Of course, your fingers are all gluey, so you're probably not going to respond, huh? Yeah, so the magazine type paper is going to take a little bit more work to get it all to stick. Just so you know to expect it. Okay. So this one is the one we just did. And it's on the tacky side. Just wiping a little of the glue off the original button. And I'm going to set it back down on top of that one. So Susie, you just did 4 and it turned out great. You used Mod Podge and you used scrapbook paper. Cool. Yeah, I think your Mod Podge will probably work a little bit better than this glue, because the Mod Podge is kind of made for this type of, paper craft. The tacky glue is made for, it's a little thicker of a glue, and it's a wet glue, which is really what you need, but maybe the Mod Podge, is a better choice. So I'm just kind of letting these other two dry now so I can touch them. They're sticking to the other button a little bit. And let's go ahead and poke the holes. Cool. This one has 4 holes. And let's push the paper down a little bit more. Okay. So we just need that one to dry a little more. It's really sticky. So these are done. These are drying. And this one here is the one that we did with the magazine type paper. So I did go out and get some running around on today. The post office people are working behind a shower curtain. They have several shower curtains taped. Wow. And I did go to Joann Fabrics today. I couldn't find a crochet hook that I thought I had. So I had to go get another one. And I stood outside of Joann Fabrics for, it was probably about 40 minutes. And one person comes out, one person goes in. So, and only 10 people are allowed in that giant store at a time. So I get in there, and I'm going to just set this kind of on the scissor a little bit. And I needed a number 6 US crochet hook. Little itty bitty tiny thing. This is it right here. If you can see it. Let's see if I can get it up to the camera. You see how tiny that hook is? So anyway, did I get it up there? I don't even know where the camera is. Here. Right here? There it is. I don't know if it focused or not. Sorry about that, girls. But anyway, when I got in there and I came out, there was almost twice as many people on the outside as there was when I was standing in line. So, busy day for Joann's. A county over, they're starting to open up parks and like hair salons and the tattoo shops, barbers, salons, and one other thing. Oh, gyms are opening up. They just have to, do the social distancing thing, and everybody's like required to wear masks. So, but that's the next county over. Here, they're still giving, as far as I know, they're still giving tickets if you're, traveling around and you get stopped. If your city doesn't match where you're at, what happens is they give you a ticket. So, $500 ticket, and you can get up to 60 days in jail. So, anyway, what do you think, girls? Give me a little feedback. Let me know. Okay. I guess I'm done. And Susie, you used Mod Podge too? Oh, well, you already did the Mod Podge. I'm just rereading your message. Well, good. I'm glad to know that the Mod Podge works. Look at this button, though. Isn't that cool? I like the one that has the plant. Okay. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. Give you a nice goopy little project. Sometimes it's fun to get messy. Thank you again for hanging out. I don't have anything more for tonight. That's my Friday Night Live, my pizza story, and my Joann Fabrics story. So take care, and maybe we'll see you on the weekend. Who knows? All right, I'm going to go scout out and see who else went live tonight. And those of you who haven't done it yet, you need to give it a try. It was really intimidating for me the first time I did it, which was only a few months ago. But now I feel pretty comfortable with it for the most part. I'm still kind of learning the camera part of it. And sometimes signing into YouTube, or not YouTube, but Facebook is a little tricky. It doesn't seem to catch up to what I'm doing, to come on so I can see myself. But, yeah, it's not that scary. It's a very safe environment, and we might laugh, but it's only because we have our own hang-ups too. So have fun with it and enjoy your buttons. Take some pictures and post them so I can see. Alrighty? Have a great night, ladies. Be safe.